Catch 'em all.
Hi guys, this is Yasser from I-SQL and welcome to today's tutorial. If this is your first time landing here, please make sure to subscribe and click on the notification button so you will be amongst the first ones to know whenever a new tutorial is posted. Don't forget to leave all your questions and requests in the comment section below. So let's go over the table of contents of today's tutorial, then we'll start right after that. We'll be going over the CTEs in SQL, and the CTE stands for Common Table Expression, and a CTE allows us actually to define a temporary result set that will be available within the execution scope of our query or our statement. And a CTE can be used within a SQL statement, an insert statement, an update, or a delete statement. Let's go over this use case so we can see how we can use the CTEs in SQL. So let's say these are our requirements. So the first requirement will be find the top 5 salespersons, and the second requirement will be map in their first and last names. So pretty much what we need to do here is we need to run query 1. I'm gonna call it Q1 to determine our top 5 cells. Now, out of these top 5 cells, we need to run a second query. Let's call it query 2. And in this second query, we need to determine these top 5 salespersons. We need to determine their first name, and last name. So let's see how we're gonna use this in SQL. The first thing we will do is we need to build a query that will actually help us get our top 5 salespersons. And we will be using our training database, the DBU, schema, and our sales table. And out of this table, we only need to return a salesperson ID, and we need to count how many order IDs each of these salespersons sold. Now, because we are using aggregation here under the count, we will need to group by our salesperson ID, and we have to order by our column number 2, which will be the count, in a descending order. Let's run this query so we can see if we will get our top 5 salesperson or no. Alright, so it did give us our top 5 salespeople here. Now let's say I don't need to run the top 5. I'm just going to run the query as is. So when I did these 2 dashes here, that means I did comment out the top 5, and it will not be taken in consideration when I run my query. So let's see how many salespersons we have. Looks like we have 13. And as you can see, each salesperson has a unique ID And each of these IDs has a total of orders. So this guy sold this many orders during all those past years or during all the data within this table. Now, let's go back to our top 5 and just run the top 5 to make sure that we will be only getting those top 5 people or sales persons. Now, remember earlier when I was drawing, I say that we need to do or build query 1 and query 2. So this is query 1. We need to wrap it between 2 parentheses. And we will start writing actually our CTE here, or determining our CTE. Let's call it top 5 cells. So pretty much we called this query as top 5. And as our requirement says that we need to determine our top 5, and out of these top 5 salespersons, we need to map in the first name and last name. Now, we found the top 5 salespersons with their orders. Let's start now adding a script, which will be query number 2 from my drawing that I did earlier. Alrighty. So we need to return everything from this table. And let's call this table S. So this table, or top 5 cells, is actually representing everything within our query over here. Now let's return s.salesperson ID. How many orders they sold? So I'm going to run everything now, just so you can see that this script here will call all the results that were returned from this top query here. There you go. We have our results again here. Now, what we need to do, remember, from the requirement number 2 or B, we need to map in the first name and last name. And in order to do that, we have to join an additional table that exists in our Adventure Works 2019 under the person schema and under the person table. Let's call this table P because it's the table's name is person. Now we need to join on s.salesperson ID equal p.business identity ID. Now we need to add from this table here, which we called it P, and we can just use P plain, or we can say as P or as S over here. It doesn't make any difference. They both work the same way. So from table P, we will call in the first name, and from table P again, we'll be calling the last name. Now, let's run this query. And when I run this query, I'm gonna be running the top part of it and the bottom part of it. So the top part of the query determines our top 5 salespersons. As you can see here, these results here are from query 1. Now, these results here are from query 2. And as I said earlier when I was drawing, we need to run 2 queries. Query 1, it determines our population first, which is our top 5. And query 2, it maps the first name and last name for whatever results from query 1. So this is how we run and execute CTE statements.